Hey, good morning, everybody. I have been looking at the homework assignments that have already been submitted, and I'm seeing some issues. So I'm going to do a quick video to remind you guys about some of the things that you need to be doing in that homework. So if you've already submitted your homework, you can go back and work on it again and resubmit through Canvas. So I'm going to share my screen now to talk through a few things. Okay, so you guys should be able to see the screen that shows the homework assignment instructions. This homework assignment is due tonight. It's based on the research that you were conducting last week on your Project 3 topic. So I'm just going to go through the parts that are listed here because it's a 25-point assignment, and I want to make sure that you guys are getting as many points as you possibly can on this assignment. So part one tells you to prepare a complete, correct MLA citation sentence. This is an issue that I've seen on the submissions already. There's a handful of submissions where students have already turned in their work, and I would say about half of them don't have an MLA citation sentence there. So that's kind of what prompted me to want to do this quick video for you guys. So I'm going to click over to the this is a video, a slideshow that I used in class a couple of weeks ago. I have changed the share settings, so you should be able to go back and look at this video yourself. It's on the course schedule from March 2nd. So looking at this video, if we scroll down to the very, let's see, the slide 11, this is a works cited entry. This is in chapter 53 of your textbook under works cited entries. It's also, you can look on Purdue OWL MLA. So this is what that part one needs to look like. It's not just the title of the piece or the author name or whatever. It needs to be a complete, correct citation sentence. This is what someone would use to find your source. This is what I'll use to go back and find your source so that I can then make sure that you have quoted it correctly, etc. Okay, so you want to make sure that your part one on your assignment, on your homework assignment for tonight, is an MLA citation sentence for your source. Now, the majority of the sources that you guys found are probably database sources. So you can look in chapter 53 of your textbook for the rule that I believe it's called library subscription service. You can use that rule to prepare your MLA citation sentence. Then for part two, you're going to share a section from that article as a quote with appropriate in-text citations. I'm going to go back over to that slideshow from a couple of weeks ago. And here are the rules on quoting a source. You're going to use the exact wording. Make sure you put quotation marks around it, but you still need to have that signal phrase, and you still need to have that in-text parenthetical. Chapter 51 in your book shows you examples of quoting, and then chapter 53 has the examples of in-text citations. And here is a quote example that we used for this slideshow, where in the opinion piece, etc., in yellow there is what we would call the signal phrase. And then here at the end is the in-text parenthetical with just the author name, because this happens to be a source that doesn't have page numbers. So there's an example of that. Part three, then you're going to paraphrase what you quoted for part two. All right. So what that means is paraphrase, if we go back over to that slideshow again, paraphrasing There we go. Paraphrasing, you're taking what you have quoted and you're putting it in your own words. So none of the words should be exact from the source, but you still have to have that signal phrase to tell where you get it. And the difference between paraphrasing and summarizing is that paraphrasing is going to be more detailed because you're tracking the major ideas. You're going point by point in the order that the points were presented in the source. And so an example of paraphrasing here is you still got your signal phrase. All of this would be in your own words, not from the source, but you're still providing in-text citations at the end of the sentences. And then finally, if we look at, you're doing the quote again for part 4, you're choosing a different section from your source to quote again. But then part 5 is you're writing a summary of what you quoted for part 4. And so if we go back over to our slideshow and scroll up, we've got the rules on summarizing a source where you take in the main idea. So for that part 4, you're selecting a sentence or two to quote. So your summary for part 5 will be the main idea of that sentence or two that you quoted. All this slideshow references chapters in your book that you can look at, and it also has this little chart at the beginning of it. Again, this is the Using Sources Ethically slideshow that's linked on March 2nd of the course schedule. Now, the other thing I'll say about the homework real quick before I end the video is that you need to make sure that you proofread your work. And the other thing is you need to make sure, here I say number each part as follows. You need to make sure that you have numbered your 1 through 5, because if you've done it incorrectly, I may not be able to tell what you were trying to do in that section, and I won't be able to give you partial credit because I won't know which one you're trying to do. So make sure you number your items and make sure you proofread your work so that you don't have any errors, and then get that submitted by midnight tonight through Canvas. If you've already submitted it, you can redo it and resubmit through Canvas. It will allow a second submission. All right, if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure that you can post a question in the Ask a Question discussion board, or you can email me directly, and I will then respond to it as quickly as I can. All right, thanks you guys.